Stallings batting at $190. He has John Berti on second base, and the pitch way high and outside.
You know, most infielders and outfielders were pitchers at some point in high school, but being a pitcher in college is a different thing.
The pitch on the way, and that's popped foul off to the right. 3-2 on Stallings. The Marlins have put up 3 runs here in the 8th inning with 1 out. We invite you to suit up at MLBshop.com. Check out the largest selection of authentic caps, T-shirts, collectibles, and
more.
The pitch by Burleson. That's hit hard into center field, a base hit. And the runner will stop at third. That's Berti over at third base. Stallings gets on. That has been quite a line today with Soler going 3 out of 4, a walk, 3 runs scored, and 2 RBIs. Stallings in his spot gets a single. And Brian De La Cruz. De La Cruz has an RBI, hitting the little dribbler that went under JoJo Romero's glove for an error, but a run scored on that. There's a ball stroke foul out of play off to the right. We invite you to gear up your St. Louis Cardinals gear at MLBshop.com. 18 hits and 14 runs for Miami. There's a hanger of a breaking ball fouled out of play off to the right with Alec Burleson on.
I think he did that for fun, just to change speeds, to try something different. Well, John, we had fireworks last night, and apparently some more here this afternoon.
Here's the next pitch. A foul ball, back and out of play. Nail so far has been charged with 7 runs over an inning and a third, with 2 walks and 2 strikeouts. Berti at third belongs to him. The pitch. That's slapped into center for an RBI hit. Berti scores. Stallings stops at second. De La Cruz has his second RBI. 15-0 Marlins. And Sanchez comes up. It was Sanchez who got the day started with a 3-run homer off Wainwright in the first.
Hitting has just looked easy for the Marlins today, and it started in inning number 1.
15-0 Miami. The 8th man to bat in the inning is Sanchez. He takes ball 1 from Burleson. Still 1 out. 8 runs earned, 7 hits on Nail. That closes the book on him. The pitch inside a ball, 2-0. The Marlins batted around, scoring 3 times in the 4th inning. The pitch is swung on and missed. Sanchez was trying to hit that one through the glass above the second deck in right field. Lots of windows in this building. Had the roof closed. Both games. Here's a pitch inside a ball, 3-1 with 2 on and 1 out. And Garrett Cooper on deck. Berti and Stallings have been used as pinch hitters this inning. There's a strike called. Sanchez was ready to take his walk. 3-2, 1 out. The left field corner unguarded. The pitch. A swing and a high fly ball, deep center field. Moving back in front of the track. The catch is made by Nootbaar. Whew. Let's pause for station identification on the Cardinals Network powered by Graybar.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Here's a pitch swung on and hit down the right field line. Dylan Carlson on the run makes the catch, retiring Cooper. For the second time, Miami batted around in this game. 2 other times they sent 8 men to the plate. Whew, we're going to the 9th, 15-0 Miami.
It's the Midsummer Classic on Fox.
Man, this is going to be fun. Stars all over the field.
The world's biggest headliners serving up their mammoth hits. They're taking center stage for one incredible show. The MLB All-Star Game, July 11th on Fox.
What's better than a crunchy tortilla taco topped with melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, and our signature taco sauce drizzle? 2 crunchy tortilla tacos with melty American cheese, shredded lettuce, and our signature taco sauce drizzle. Now, what if I told you you can have all of that for free? If the Cardinals win today's game, you can get 2 free tacos from Jack in the Box with any refreshing drink purchase tomorrow. It's a win-win.
He made the catch! He made the catch for a Redbird winner!
Introducing the new My Plan from Verizon. Now you can pick only the perks you want in your phone plan and save on every one, like Disney Bundle and Hotspot. Get exactly what you want, only pay for what you need. Get My Plan at your Verizon store today. $10 per month for each My Plan perk. Additional terms and conditions apply per perk.
At Lowe's, we're always bringing pros more ways to save. Right now, save on Valspar 5-gallon Ultra Flat Paint. Was $131, now just $123. Plus, MVP's Pro Rewards members earn up to 900 bonus points with the purchase of a Graco Magnum X7 paint sprayer. Lowe's knows pros. Valspar offer valid through 8/2. Selection varies by location. Estimated bonus points valid through 6/30. Actual awarded bonus points calculated on purchase price before taxes and after applicable discounts, if any. Subject to program terms and conditions.
There's a certain magic here in Cardinals Nation. Can you feel it? Central Bank is the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. Sign up for Cardinals checking with Central Bank and get a 2013 League Champions jersey and 2 game tickets. See bank for details. Member FDIC.
Well, our game goes to the 9th inning, if you want to call it a game. 15-0 in favor of Miami. The Marlins have had 22 at-bats with runners in scoring position, collecting 9 hits. And here is ball 1 low to the Cardinal leadoff batter, Jordan Walker.
And look who's pitching. Jacob Stallings
is pitching and misses low for a ball, so Lindgren goes 1 inning with 1 strikeout.
Cardinals did this last year at one point, if you recall.
There's a foul ball back.
Or maybe twice. I know one of the times that Albert Pujols pitched was in a game like this, where you might as well just save your bullpen.
It's a 15-0 lead, and Stallings' pitch is swung on and missed 2-2. We're in the 9th. Walker leads off, looking for his first hit in the series, and he lines that to center field, 1 out. Caught by Myers. Paul DeYoung is coming up. So the former Pirate catcher is on there trying to mop this one up. Learning in person or online what works best for you at Maryville University. They let you decide. It's your education, your choice. Create a personalized learning experience at maryville.edu. And there's the old lob ball.
44 miles an hour.
Ball 1 high. The pitch to DeYoung, swung on, ground ball, deep short, left field, base hit.
I'm sure when Stallings woke up this morning, he didn't think, I just wonder if I might have a chance to finish up a combined shutout today. Maybe they'll use me that way.
Well, that's what he's trying to do following Okert, Lindgren, after Luzardo's 6 innings. The pitch, and a fastball strike at the knees. The tall Jacob Stallings. From the stretch, his pitch, the slow ball is hit hard toward the gap in left center field, and it goes off the left fielder, De La Cruz. Everybody's safe. That's a hit for Dylan Carlson. DeYoung stops at second. De La Cruz tried to make the catch on it, couldn't come up with it. And here is Donovan, the Cardinal first baseman. Donovan hits it hard to right field, and that's going to get down for a hit. The bases are loaded with 1 out. So Donovan, coming into the game, didn't have to make a throw over at first base. So he's been nursing a sore arm, but he gets a hit.
Well, and then he has now been on base in 19 straight games, too. Entering this game here in the 9th inning, at least from an offensive standpoint, he extends that streak.
And here is a ball that's hit into right field. That's a base hit. Lars Nootbaar drives in a run, and the Cardinals are on the board. It's 15-1. Paul DeYoung. He's getting some congratulations in the Cardinal dugout for crossing the plate. Here's the pitch. A swing, and Tommy Edman hits a high fly ball into center field. The catch is made by Myers, tagging at third, and coming down the line, the Cardinals get another run. A sacrifice fly for Tommy Edman. And the Cardinals are down to their last out. And the first pitch taken for a ball by Alec Burleson. Stallings' next pitch inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Burleson struck out swinging, facing Jeff Lindgren. The pitch, Burleson hits a ground ball to the second baseman. The throw to first, that's the ball game. This one is over. The Marlins have won the first 2 games in this series, 5-4 last night and 15-2 today. Ricky and I will talk about it after this.
Papa John's took their fresh, never frozen dough and did it up New York style. We're talking big, oversized slices filled edge to edge with your favorite toppings and melty cheese, stringing you along into each and every bite. Enjoy a one-topping pizza with 8 oversized slices built to fold the right way. This is how Papa John's does the extra large New York style pizza. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
At Bayer, we know that you can start small and still reach big dreams. That we create innovations down the road by nurturing the future today. That rural communities aren't just farms, but all the people they feed. That's why Bayer partners with farmers to protect those ideas. Because together, we're tending tomorrow's harvest.
August 5th is International Trading Card Day, and Topps would like to celebrate with you. Visit your participating local hobby shop to receive a pack of cards. Plus, receive a special card if you purchase $10 or more of Topps products while supplies last. You can also celebrate International Trading Card Day with Topps on August 5th at Busch Stadium and receive an exclusive Cardinals card pack. Follow @Topps on social media and visit Topps.com for more information.
Feel the magic with the official St. Louis Cardinals credit card from Central Bank. From tickets to throwing out the first pitch, your St. Louis Cardinals credit card earns rewards for one-of-a-kind experiences. Your no annual fee card earns you double reward points at the stadium and at Cardinals.com. Central Bank, the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals, and now offering the official St. Louis Cardinals credit card. Visit CardinalsCredit.com or any Central Bank location to sign up. Subject to credit approval, see bank for details.
Well, Ricky, just like last Thursday against the Houston Astros at home when the Cardinals dropped a 14-0 game, the best part about that one and this one, they're over.
Yeah.
15-2 Miami today.
Well, it really couldn't end quickly enough, and you have some games like that in the course of a season. You don't want to have very many of them, but 2 of them recently here where Alec Burleson's called on to pitch in 2 different times, and just shows just how bad this loss was today on the 4th of July. A lot of reasons to celebrate today, but you can't celebrate a well-played game by the Cardinals. They really got kind of behind the 8 ball in the first inning, John. It just felt like it was over. The Marlins were swinging the bat so well in that first inning, picking up 3 runs, and then they just did not stop.
Well, the Cardinals in a 3-hour game had 8 at-bats with runners in scoring position, and they managed to cash in a couple of hits against a position player, Jacob Stallings, to get their 2 runs in the 9th inning.
Yeah, the only runs that they had, and odd to see both teams using a position player to pitch. Stallings on the other side, and then Burleson, as we mentioned, on the Cardinals side. But the Cardinals, relief pitching wasn't very good in this game again. And Adam Wainwright struggled, gave up the 7 runs, 4 of them earned in 3 1/3 innings through a ton of pitches. Jojo Romero's line was okay, but he unfortunately allowed the runners that were on base to score, and his error was a part of that. And Genesis Cabrera, did not give up a run in his inning, but gave up a couple of hits and walked the batter. So he was fortunate to get out of it, and James Nail really struggled in this game. Had a bad first inning, sent him back out to try to right the ship, and then it just got worse.
He had 8 earned runs, 7 hits over an inning and a third. Nail walked 2 and struck out 2, and then Burleson gave up 2 hits but got the last 2 outs. And then the Cardinals were able to put a few men on as Paul DeYoung was on with a walk, a hit by pitch, a single, a run scored today. Dylan Carlson on with a walk, a single, a run scored. Andrew Kisner had a hit and 2 at-bats, but he had to leave the game after he took the brunt of a foul ball, and Wilson Contreras caught the rest of the game.
Yeah, let's hope that Andrew's okay and will be fine to be able to play tomorrow. And let's hope that the Cardinals can somehow kind of just flush this game. And again, it is so hard to do that when they pile up, John. If it's just kind of a loss every once in a while, you say, that's okay. Let's just have fun with Burleson pitching in the 9th inning. I don't think that was fun, frankly. I don't think it was fun for Cardinals.
There wasn't anything about this game that was fun, Ricky. Nothing at all.
But if you're a team that's right first place, second place, you're playing winning baseball. Occasionally you have a bad day. You get some kind of amusement out of using a position player late in the game, and you kind of just enjoy that and move on and move on to the next day. But this is different, John. It just honestly was not fun.
Well, carryover, just like last week against the Houston Astros when the Cardinals had a game go south in the late innings and the next day lost 14-0. Well, last night in the 7th inning, the game went south and Miami won 5-4 and then took off with 3 runs in the first, 1 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 4 in the 7th, 4 in the 8th inning on the way to a 15-2 win with 19 hits against Cardinal pitching.
We've talked about the Cardinals. It almost seems like they have to win the game 3 different times, and they have to win the starting battle and then the hitting battle and then the bullpen battle at the end. And they lost it with the third way, which was the bullpen in that game yesterday. But today it was lost from the beginning, John, because of the rough start for Adam Wainwright.
And we'll be back after this.
Every industry has specialists, like Alan here. He knows radiators.
Radiators. I love them. Don't even talk to me about brakes or fuel lines.
Just radiators.
Radiators.
Sally is a specialist in cakes.
I think pies are an abomination.
Really? Pies?
Yuck.
Then we have Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. You know what they're great at? Appliances. Nothing else. No TVs, no computer printers, no radiators.
Who's got a problem with radiators?
Nobody, Alan. But you can't get one at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Too bad. They're missing out.
I'm Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. All we do is appliances. And when that's all you do it better than anyone else. Our associates on our sales floors know more about them. Our delivery people are better at installing them. And our technicians are better at fixing them. All right here in Central Illinois. Wow!
I can't believe you don't like pies, though.
What do I look like, some kind of a peasant?
No.
Cakes are really the best thing.
Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
As our nation celebrates its 247th birthday this July, Gale Frericks Trucking is extending a firecracker of a deal to professional Class A CDL drivers interested in joining our team. In addition to our standard offering of great percentage pay, paid holidays and vacations, pre-planned dispatches, benefits, home time every weekend, and $1,200 per week gross pay guarantee, drivers that join us in the month of July will receive an additional $247 per week for the first 16 weeks with us. Take the family out to dinner when you're home every weekend, or use it as a Christmas fund. It doesn't matter to us. This is America, and you have the freedom to do with it what you want. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to explore our regional van and flatbed opportunities and work for a company that works as hard for you as you do for them, call Tim at 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com
to learn more.
The line score for this one, Noah, is Bob Murphy, the old Mets announcer.
Yeah.
He used to say the happy totals. These are the very unhappy totals. 15 runs, 19 hits, no errors, 11 left for the Marlins, who won their 50th game of the season today. They went 9 for 22 with runners in scoring position. The Cardinals lost their 50th game of the season. They had 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error, 9 left, 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and got those 2 hits against Jacob Stallings in the 9th inning.
Well, if there's any solace, and there is not any solace, it's not the worst loss that the Cardinals have had on the 4th of July. Chris Tuno tells us that in 1999, the Cardinals lost 17-5 to the Arizona Diamondbacks, and it was Andy Benes pitching for the Diamondbacks in that game. And the home runs on the Cardinals side, despite the loss, Mark McGwire hit a home run, and so did Joe McEwing, the Cardinals bench coach, in a 17-5 loss many years ago.
Well, it was nice to see Brendan Donovan extend his on-base streak, and it's always nice to see him in the lineup. He was in there Sunday and hit a big home run in the win over the Yankees at home when the Cardinals won 2 out of 3. But this has been a downer of an experience leading off the road trip, losing 5-4 after leading in the 7th inning last night and then getting thumped 15-2 today.
Pitching has to get figured out, and that's just too much pressure on the offense if you're down 3-0, 4-0, 5-0 early, and that's been the case too many times.
The play of the game is presented by Marriott St. Louis Grand. Book your Grand Slam Cardinals ticket package today. We'll have that play after this.
If you're looking for something to do to celebrate the 4th, the Champaign County Freedom Celebration has exciting events planned just for you. Festivities begin at 8:30 a.m. with our youth run and 5K race walk at 9:05 a.m. Thanks to our supporters at Body and Soul and Second Wind Running Club. The parade steps off at 11:05 a.m. Whether you're in the mood for rock, pop, country, southern rock, or another genre of music, join us at 7 p.m. at Stadium Terrace. All happening at the University of Illinois.
The Champaign County Freedom Celebration is getting their 5K registrations and parade participants and music groups ready for the best 4th of July yet. Head to July4th.net. That's July, the number 4th.net for details on how to celebrate America's independence. Keeping you in the loop on terrific local events. Proud to be an American.
Illini fans, take the opportunity to head down to Game Day Spirit's Green Street location this summer. Shop their awesome selection of Fighting Illini merchandise. While you're there, shop some of their awesome buy one, get one free t-shirt designs, as well as their Nike section and so much more. With new styles coming in daily, there's sure to be something for every Illini fan. Shop at the corner of Neal and Kirby in Champaign, 6th and Green in Campustown, and online 24/7 at GameDaySpirit.com. Game Day Spirit, where Illini fans shop.
At ABC Heating and Air, it's our promise to help you always be comfortable. Do you need rescued because you're burning hot? Do you need rescued because your air is shot? Call ABC Heating and Air at 352-5400 and let us rescue you from the heat. ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400. Can't you see you need to call me at ABC? Call ABC Heating and Air. That's ABC Heating and Air, 352-5400.
Adam Wainwright made the start today for the Cardinals, and it was Jesus Luzardo. Luzardo on the mound for Miami. Tommy Edman, Paul Goldschmidt, and Arenado went 1-2-3 in the first inning, but the Miami Marlins got the line moving against Adam Wainwright, with Luis Arraez hitting an 0-2 pitch up the middle for a base hit. Jorge Soler, for the second straight game, doubled to left center, setting up second and third. Brian De La Cruz lined out to third, sending up Jesus Sanchez. And in the first inning, this was pretty much the game, with the play of the game presented by Marriott St. Louis Grand. Yuli Gurriel drove those in. There's a swing and a long one to center field. Back goes Nootbaar, and that's a home run off the bat of Jesus Sanchez. 3-0 Miami. Miami got a home run from Garrett Cooper in the fourth inning, his 11th home run of the year. Cooper drove in 2 of the 3 Miami runs in the fourth with a base hit. Then a 4-run 7th inning with 8 men coming to the plate. 4 more scored in the 8th, with the Marlins batting around for the second time in the game, on the way to beating the Cardinals today 15-2. The Cardinals got their runs against Jacob Stallings, a catcher, pitching in the 9th inning. So the Cardinals got 2 runs on 4 hits, singles by DeYoung, Carlson, then Donovan, and Nootbaar, and a sacrifice fly from Tommy Edman. The win goes to Luzardo. He's 1-1 now against the Cardinals. 7-5 overall. That was his 20th Major League win. Adam Wainwright is the loser, 3-4. A 3-hour game, 16,497 the paid attendance. The Cardinals and the Marlins play Game 3 in the series. The Cardinal starter to be announced against right-hander Brian Hoeing. Hoeing, 1-2. 4:45 for our pregame. Ricky has the lineups at 5:30 Central. I'll bring you the first pitch at 5:40. Thanks to our producer-engineer, Jim Jackson, to Ethan Hannaford, working in the studios in St. Louis, to Tom Ackerman hosted the pregame show. Matt Pauley is coming up with the postgame show. Now for Ricky Horton, I'm John Rooney, wishing you a happy 4th of July. The final today, the Marlins 15, the Cardinals 2. So long from Miami. St. Louis Cardinals baseball has been brought to you by Budweiser, official beer sponsor of Major League Baseball. Crack open the game with Budweiser and enjoy unrivaled flavor and refreshment. By your quality Ford dealers, the official vehicles of the St. Louis Cardinals. By Schnucks. Earn 2% back on every purchase with the Schnucks Rewards app. By Shelter Insurance. Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com to help you choose the coverage that works for your auto, home, and life insurance. By Explore St. Louis. Learn all about the great things to do in St. Louis. Visit exploreστlouis.com. By Central Bank, the hometown bank of the St. Louis Cardinals. By the Painting and Decorating Foundation. And by Sonic Drive-In. Sonic. This is the St. Louis Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar.
Was just a bad game today for the Cardinals. They lose to Miami by a 15-2 score. Welcome into the Mercy Cardinals postgame show. My name is Matt Pauley, coming your way from our St. Louis studios as the Cardinals, just not good today, losing by that 15-2 score. We will hear from Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol. We will go back through the game with the highlights in just a moment as we recap what was a tough 4th of July for the Cardinals. It's all coming up. This is the Mercy Cardinals postgame show on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar.
Have you ever noticed that when the afternoon light hits your floors, you can see everything, including dust?
So much dust.
And that floor dust gets kicked up into the air, compromising the quality of air you and your family breathe.
Eesh.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper is the fast and easy way to clean your floors, with ultra-thick pads that trap and lock dust before it gets in the air. Just a couple minutes a day.
And dust is gone.
Swiffer Heavy Duty Sweeper. Proud partner of the American Lung Association.
Experience the excitement of Live by Lowe's St. Louis at Ballpark Village. Stay in laid-back luxury across from Busch Stadium, and it's just a short walk to Enterprise Center. Enjoy plenty of dining options, including Clark & Bourbon, a classic steakhouse that features its very own whiskey room. Gather with friends at the Bullock, an outdoor terrace featuring handcrafted cocktails and light bites, along with terrific views of Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village. Sports and entertainment come alive at Live by Lowe's St. Louis.
As our nation celebrates its 247th birthday this July, Gale Frericks Trucking is extending a firecracker of a deal to professional Class A CDL drivers interested in joining our team. In addition to our standard offering of great percentage pay, paid holidays and vacations, pre-planned dispatches, benefits, home time every weekend, and $1,200 per week gross pay guarantee, drivers that join us in the month of July will receive an additional $247 per week for the first 16 weeks with us. Take the family out to dinner when you're home every weekend, or use it as a Christmas fund. It doesn't matter to us. This is America, and you have the freedom to do with it what you want. If you have a Class A CDL and would like to explore our regional van and flatbed opportunities and work for a company that works as hard for you as you do for them, call Tim at 765-793-7131 or email timo@gftlog.com.
If you're looking for something to do to celebrate the 4th, the Champaign County Freedom Celebration has exciting events planned just for you. Festivities begin at 8:30 a.m. with our youth run and 5K race walk at 9:05 a.m. Thanks to our supporters at Body and Soul and Second Wind Running Club. The parade steps off at 11:05 a.m. Whether you're in the mood for rock, pop, country, southern rock, or another genre of music, join us at 7 p.m. at Stadium Terrace. All happening at the University of Illinois.
The Champaign County Freedom Celebration is getting their 5K registrations and parade participants and music groups ready for the best 4th of July yet. Head to July4th.net. That's July, the number 4th.net for details on how to celebrate America's independence. Keeping you in the loop on terrific local events, proud to be an American.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
(15-2). The Cardinals lose to the Marlins today. Welcome back in. It is the Mercy Cardinals post-game show here on the Cardinals Radio Network. Let's go ahead and do this. Go back through the game with the highlights. The starting pitching matchup, Adam Wainwright going for the Cardinals, and for the Marlins, it is Jesus Luzardo. It was not a good start for Adam Wainwright. Bottom of the first inning, he gives up a base hit to Luis Arraez, a double to Jorge Soler. After a hard line out from Brian De La Cruz, it brings up Jesus Sanchez.
Yuli Gurriel drove those in. There's a swing and a long one to center field. Back goes Nootbaar, and that's a home run off the bat of Jesus Sanchez. 3-0 Miami.
Yeah, not a good start, and Miami gets those 3 runs there in the inning. That would be it, though, for them, as Wainwright would be able to settle in, and eventually with a couple outs, he was facing off against Nick Fortes.
The runners lead at first and second, and the 1-2 pitch. Wainwright to Fortes. Strike 3 call, a fastball. Ends the bottom of the first inning.
Cardinals had an opportunity to answer in the top of the second inning. Wilson Contreras leads the inning off with a double, but then with 1 out, he would be picked off, caught stealing. There was also a Paul DeJong walk, so they got a couple base runners there in the second, but they strand 1, and it remains a 3-0 game. Wainwright does pitch a scoreless second inning. He would get 2 outs relatively quickly and then face off against Jorge Soler.
The 1-2 pitch, a swing and a miss. A curveball strikes out Jorge Soler.
So that was good for Wainwright putting together that inning. Again, the Cardinals had an opportunity to score in the third. They got a leadoff base hit off the bat of Andrew Knizner. Paul Goldschmidt had a hit in the third as well, but they end up stranding 2. And then in the third, the Marlins would add to their lead, courtesy of Garrett Cooper.
Bueno delivers. And that ball's hit hard to straightaway center field. Backing up is Nootbaar. He looks up, and it's gone. A home run to right center field for Garrett Cooper, his 11th of the season, and it's 4-0 Miami.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. In the top of the fourth inning, again, the Cardinals have runners on. Down 4-0. They have an opportunity. They get 2 runners on thanks to a Paul DeJong hit by pitch and a Dylan Carlson walk, but they can't collect a hit in the inning. They strand 2 more runners going to the bottom of the fourth inning, and that's when the Marlins really start to put this one away. Nick Fortes is hit by a pitch, and then with 1 out, Luis Arraez walks. So runners on at first and second for Jorge Soler. He walks as well. That ends the day for Adam Wainwright. Not a good day for him. And the first batter that Jojo Romero faces off against is Brian De La Cruz.
Romero comes set, kind of crouches over, then stands up. The 3-1 pitch is grounded back to Romero. He misses it, goes right under his glove. And the Marlins pick up another run, a chance maybe for a double play there, but all Marlins are safe. And it's 5-0 Miami on the error by Romero.
Yeah, kind of the microcosm of the game right there. An opportunity for a double play. Instead, no outs recorded. They ruled it a fielder's choice and an error on the play. A couple runs score, and then one more runs would score. Actually, a couple more runs would score in the inning thanks to Garrett Cooper.
And the next pitch to Cooper is lined over the head of Paul DeJong into left field. He jumped to try to catch it. 1 run scores. Here comes another. And the Marlins are breaking it open here in the fourth inning on the base hit by Cooper, who's now 3 for 3, and he's driven in 3 runs.
Yeah, 3-run fourth. That makes it 7-0. At that point, there's the game is mostly out of question in terms of what's going to happen in the final score. 7-0 the score. Marlins have the lead. In the fifth inning, Wilson Contreras had to stay in as the game as the catcher because Andrew Knizner, he got hit below the belt, and we've later found out he's actually gone to the hospital just as a precautionary measure. So hopefully Andrew Knizner is going to be okay. Just a lot of negative things ended up happening in this game. Genesis Cabrera comes on to pitch in in the 6th inning. He would give up a couple hits, but nothing more. He was the most effective pitcher of the day for the Cardinals. So we'll name that our A. Mrazek move of the game. A. Mrazek is the official mover of the St. Louis Cardinals as Cabrera goes and pitches a scoreless 6th inning. It remains 7-0 until the 7th inning. That's when the Marlins would put a few more runs on the board. 4 runs would score for the Marlins in the 7th against James Nail. Dane Myers had an RBI single. Jorge Soler had a 2-run double, and Jesus Sanchez had an RBI single. 4 runs on 4 hits in the 7th inning for the Marlins. James Nail stays into the game in the 8th inning. He continues to struggle. The Marlins score 4 more runs in the 8th inning to make it a 15-0 game. Eventually, Alec Burleson has to come in to finish off the inning. Second time we've seen him pitch in about a week. Speaking of position players pitching, the Marlins use one in their portion of the 9th inning. In the top of the 9th, when the Marlins are pitching, as Jacob Stallings comes on, and the Cardinals are able to avoid the shutout thanks to Lars Nootbaar.
And here is a ball that's hit into right field. That's a base hit. Lars Nootbaar drives in a run, and the Cardinals are on the board. It's 15-1. Tommy
Edman adds a sacrifice fly. That makes it 15-2, and that is the final score of this game. With the victory, the Marlins go to 50-37. With the loss, the Cardinals drop to 35-50. 15 games under 500. Winning totals for Miami: 15 runs, 19 hits, no errors. They leave 11 for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 9 hits, 1 error. They leave 9. Winning pitcher Luzardo, 7-5. The loss to Wainwright, he is 3-4. Home runs, Sanchez hits his 8th, Cooper hits his 11th. The game 3 hours on the nose and played in front of 16,437 folks down at Miami at Lone Depot Park. Final score, 15-2. We'll hear from Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol in just a moment. This is the Mercy Cardinals postgame show on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Gray Bar.
Win Reality would like to acknowledge all the baseball parents out there, the ones who put in the time, the love, and the money to support the future of the game. To say thank you, a Win Reality subscription of state-of-the-art virtual reality training is yours for 20% off. We understand that their improvement, their success at the plate, and their enjoyment of the game is your reward. So give your player the greatest innovation in hitter training. Be ready for real at winreality.com and use promo code PARENTS.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and if your business has a major league building project, you should call JF Electric. JF Electric has wired hundreds of buildings, engineered jobs from the ground up, and has put in countless miles of power lines. Their bids are honest and cover all the bases. You know what to expect, when it will be completed, and what it'll cost. JF Electric never throws you a curveball. Straight bids on every project. JF Electric is a local 5-generation family-owned business. You'll want them on your team. Scout them out at jfelectric.com.
Every industry has specialists, like Alan here. He knows radiators.
Radiators. I love them. Don't even talk to me about brakes or fuel lines.
Just radiators.
Radiators.
Sally is a specialist in cakes.
I think pies are an abomination.
Really? Pies?
Yuck.
Then we have Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. You know what they're great at? Appliances. Nothing else. No TVs, no computer printers, no radiators.
Who's got a problem with radiators?
Nobody, Alan, but you can't get one at Dick Van Dyke Appliance World.
Too bad. They're missing out.
I'm Dennis Regan, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. All we do is appliances. And when that's all you do it better than anyone else. Our associates on our sales floors know more about them. Our delivery people are better at installing them, and our technicians are better at fixing them. All right here in Central Illinois. Wow!
I can't believe you don't like pies, though.
What do I look like, some kind of a peasant?
No.
Cakes are really the best thing.
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
Let Max Twin City Recycling pay you for your junk metal items. As the weather begins to heat up, now is a great time to put cash in your pocket for the steel, copper, brass, and aluminum items you've been meaning to get rid of. We've recently added a large concrete pad to make unloading quicker and cleaner for our customers. Visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just north of I-74, or at maxrecycling.com.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
Come celebrate with us. The Blossom Basket Florist has been in business at the same location for the last 70 years. The Bailey family has owned the business for 25 years. Stop by the Urbana store July 11th and 12th, and you can get your free dozen roses and let them say thank you for supporting them. God has blessed them with great customers, and there's no better way to say thank you than with a dozen free roses. Visit them online at blossombasket.com. Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lonte and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
15-2, the Cardinals lose to the Marlins today. Welcome back in. It's the Mercy Cardinals post-game show on the Cardinals Radio Network. Let's name the player of the game, sponsored by the Air National Guard, where you can serve your state, serve your nation, and serve your way. We are going to look to the Miami side of things after a game like this for the player of the game, and we're going to focus in on Jesus Sanchez as Sanchez goes out and has a pretty solid game. He hit that early home run, which now as we look back at it really was the beginning of the end. He has 3 hits today and 4 RBIs. He hits the home run, his 8th of the year, so he is our player of the game, again brought to you by the Air National Guard. Oliver Marmol spoke with the media just a little while ago. He opened up by giving an update on catcher Andrew Kisner, who had to leave the game. This audio is courtesy of our friends at Bally Sports Midwest.
Not yet. No, he's at the ER at the moment, and we've yet to receive an update. Yeah.
Wayno's start, everyone was hoping for the best. What did you make of Wayno's?
Yeah, not ideal for him or for us, and was able to talk through it with him, and there's just not a whole lot behind it at the moment. He's pitching through several things, and our hope that it was better today, but it wasn't.
Do you have any idea what might come next for him?
Yeah, he's actually going to travel back home at the moment and get further eval, but that's where we're at.
When you say there's not much behind it, there's some reasons. You're saying
there's physical reasons, and we're going to look at them and have a better sense of what we're dealing with, but he'll be on the IL.
For how long has this been going?
I mean, Wayno's been pinching through pain for years.
I guess that's the line. I mean, we ask him and he says, I'm okay, I'm ready to go.
He's always going to tell you he's okay.
Okay, so what do we believe then?
What are you asking?
I'm asking, like, he's obviously struggled. Yeah. You say he always pitches through pain. He's had 3 starts here where he has not been the pitcher that you expect, that he expects.
There's been times he's pitched pretty good with more pain than he's had at the moment. Okay. And it's just part of Wayno being Wayno and where he's at in his career. But the reality is he feels like getting another look at it is going to be important. That's exactly what we're going to do. But
well, he felt like if he could find the spin on the curveball, he could
yeah,
get something.
And that's
still rolling out of his hand.
Yeah, you nailed it. That's where it's at. And just not just a curveball, but there's not a finish behind any of his pitches at the moment. He's feeling like he's having trouble kind of following through and finishing. So if that's the case, then we got to take a deeper look.
You're confident you'll see him again? Will he pitch for the Cardinals again?
Yeah, my hope is yes, and he's determined to do that. Yeah.
Knowing how fond you are of him, how difficult has it been to watch him go through this for you?
Obviously difficult. This is a guy that's meant a lot to this organization in a lot of different ways on the field and off the field, and you want to see him finish well, and I think he will. We're going to take a deeper look at this, and he's determined to finish well. It was similar. I mean, if you really think about Albert in the first half, similar conversations where you're sitting there and you're having some really good heart-to-hearts figuring out what's next. And we know how that ended. And I don't think that was on many people's radar. So my hope is that this ends well.
When you get the sense from the offense, just it felt unplugged for a lot of the game today?
Yeah, one, we faced a good arm. 2, I mean, there's only so many times you can play from behind and feel good about it. It's just the reality of it. I mean, you try to punch back as much as possible. There's days where you have the ability to do that, and there's days where you don't. That was a good arm. He did a nice job. And we were unable to string together quality at bats.
You had a few moments there where you could have kind of chipped into it and slipped away.
Yeah.
Well, he played well against the Yankees, but do you worry about the cumulative effect of these losses piling up? What it does to the psyche of your team?
Yeah, you definitely do. I mean, that's just reality. You look at our ability to string together games, it's going to come down to pitching. It just will. You can't slug your way out of what we're dealing with at the moment. So Yeah.
Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol speaking with the media. That audio courtesy of Bally Sports Midwest. Adam Wainwright headed to the injured list. Andrew Kisner in the hospital. Not great. 15-2, the final score. This is the Mercy Cardinals postgame show on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before. With over 2 million phone calls last year alone, more people in more cities across America want more Morgan & Morgan. When you hire Morgan & Morgan, you're also hiring a family business. And after 35 years, we now have more offices, more staff, and more lawyers than any other injury firm in the world. Protecting America, fighting for you. Injured? Call Morgan & Morgan.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Join us for a fantastical journey at St. Louis Union Station. Board the St. Louis Wheel, soaring 200 feet into the air all year round. The St. Louis Aquarium at Union Station lets you explore the world's great waterways and over 10,000 amazing creatures. Swing from the ropes course high over the aquarium and get lost in our mirror maze. It's all here at St. Louis Union Station, where the journey is like no other. Create your new memories at stlouisunionstation.com.
If you're looking for something to do to celebrate the 4th, the Champaign County Freedom Celebration has exciting events planned just for you. Festivities begin at 8:30 a.m. with our youth run and 5K race walk at 9:05 a.m. Thanks to our supporters at Body and Soul and Second Wind Running Club. The parade steps off at 11:05 a.m. Whether you're in the mood for rock, pop, country, southern rock, or another genre of music, join us at 7 p.m. at Stadium Terrace. All happening at the University of Illinois.
The Champaign County Freedom Celebration is getting their 5K registrations and parade participants and music groups ready for the best 4th of July yet. Head to July4th.net. That's July, the number 4th.net for details on how to celebrate America's independence. Keeping you in the loop on terrific local events. Proud to be an American.
Hey, all you backyard chefs and barbecue gurus, barbecue season is here, and I know that you're anxious to fire up that smoker or grill, but your yard needs mowed. Yes, your wife is getting hangry, but that grass isn't going to cut itself. What's an aspiring pitmaster going to do? Get the world's fastest mower, a Dixie chopper from Dedicated Diesel in Urbana. They carry a full line of Dixie choppers from the Z2 and Beautiful Eagle residential models up to the big Excalibur and classic commercial machines that can mow nearly 8 acres an hour. Get your Dixie chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. This is award-winning competition pitmaster Tim Onstadt, and whether I'm cooking low and slow or hot and fast, I always have time to savor the flavor because my mowing time is cut down by Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest mower. Get your Dixie chopper at Champaign-Urbana's only dealer, Dedicated Diesel, at 1313 Triumph Drive in Urbana. 217-328-0562.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon Tay and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tough day for the Cardinals. They lose by a 15-2 score. They've lost the first 2 games of the series against the Marlins. Listen to every Major League Baseball game live or on demand with At Bat. New for 23, watch the look-ins and big moments 7 days a week on MLB Big Inning. Plus, watch the minor leagues in the MLB app. Visit MLB.com/atbat for all the details. Scores from around the division. The Cubs lead the Brewers right now 2-0. That game is in the top of the third. The Reds won earlier today. They double up the Nationals 8-4. And then later on this evening, the Pirates and the Dodgers are going to match up against each other as the Pirates will have Luis Ortiz on the mound. In our game, the Cardinals lose to Miami 15-2. Up next, we'll hear from Adam Wainwright. He'll discuss his injury situation and why he's going on the injury list. We'll do that in just a moment. This is the Mercy Cardinals postgame show on the Cardinals Radio Network, powered by Graybar.
Did you know that termites cause an estimated $5 billion of damage to U.S. homes annually? At Rottler, we've set up a non-invasive termite protection system that can detect the presence of termites before they damage your home. From a state-of-the-art TermAlert protection system to a comprehensive termite damage warranty, Rottler offers a complete defense system against termites and other common household pests. Call today for your free inspection. At Rottler, we know St. Louis pests because we know St. Louis best.
Today's culture tells women that when they are unexpectedly pregnant, that they won't be able to do it, that they are failures, that it isn't the right time, or that it's going to be hard. Since when do we give up when life gets tough? Help Vitae Foundation use their research-based pro-woman approach to reach and empower women. Let's change the culture together and show her how strong and successful she really is. For more information, visit adsforlife.org. That's adsforlife.org.
Frasca International in Urbana is a legacy founded in 1958 by aviation pioneer Rudy Frasca with a mission of improving safety in the skies. Over 60 years later, Frasca is committed to providing the best simulation equipment available with superior quality and a personal approach to service and support. Would you love to make a difference in your job? Frasca is looking for composites fabricator, electronic technician, electrical design associate, machine shop finisher, and customer service manager. Positions for field service engineer, software engineer, aeronautical engineer, mechanical engineer, and project manager are also available. The perfect fit will enjoy full-time benefits with paid time off, holidays, a 401k, and Monday through Friday schedule. For details, call 217-344-9200. As an equal opportunity employer, you can learn more about the application process at frasca.com/careers.
If you're looking for something to do to celebrate the 4th, the Champaign County Freedom Celebration has exciting events planned just for you. Festivities begin at 8:30 a.m. with our youth run and 5K race walk at 9:05 a.m. Thanks to our supporters at Body and Soul and Second Wind Running Club. The parade steps off at 11:05 a.m. Whether you're in the mood for rock, pop, country, southern rock, or another genre of music, join us at 7 p.m. at Stadium Terrace. All happening at the University of Illinois.
The Champaign County Freedom Celebration is getting their 5K registrations and parade participants and music groups ready for the best 4th of July yet. Head to July4th.net. That's July, the number 4th.net for details on how to celebrate America's independence. Keeping you in the loop on terrific local events. Proud to be an American.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Cardinals lose today. Really tough afternoon in Miami. They fall by a 15-2 score. Welcome back in. It's the Mercy Cardinals postgame show here on the Cardinals Radio Network. We learned a few moments ago that Adam Wainwright is headed to the injured list. He is dealing with a shoulder issue. He spoke with the media in Miami. This audio is courtesy of Bally Sports Midwest.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that I thought I could get through, and I don't want to use it as an excuse, so I'm not gonna, but the results are not where I want them to be, so it's not fair to the team to keep doing that 3 times in a row, no chance to win. So I don't want the story to be that every time I pitch. I want to be great, and I'll take some time and get my body good and get my arm right, get my stuff back where teams aren't just sitting slow and reacting to fastball, because there's no life on my heater right now, so they can just sit slow. And even I threw some good breaker balls today. Good cutters too, but when you're sitting back and don't have to honor the fastball at all, then it makes it tougher.
What physical things were you dealing with? I know you don't want to make an excuse for this.
Yeah, I mean, I've had some shoulder discomfort for a couple weeks now that I thought I was going to get over the hump. I've never had shoulder stuff before, so it's kind of new for me. Back is always a thing, but back is all right. Back's way worse last year and pitched great. So I think more than anything, it's just dealing with some shoulder stuff that we're going to look at, and we'll just see what the doctor has to say, and plan is to come back strong. I mean, listen, I'm either going to come back and pitch great, or I'll be a great cheerleader. So, but the plan is the first one. The plan is I'm not giving up. So, I still want to go out there and do great. I feel like I'm going to. I just got to get myself in a better position to be able to do that. Stop kidding myself.
You feel like you will be back, though?
Yeah, I feel like I will be back. Yeah.
They said you can't.
Fair question, though.
You can't finish pitches right now. Is that kind of the problem?
Yeah, it's hurting my my execution. It's just everything is flat. Everything is kind of dead. There's no life on the end of the pitch. I've pitched great games. Y'all seen me pitch at 82 miles an hour before and win a game against the Braves before, and had definitely had games where velo was down for, but had the life on the end of stuff that missed barrels. Right now I'm not missing any barrels, so the ones I do miss, they still find holes. It's a tough time for me, but weather the storm and come out stronger. So just I have too much respect for the team and for the game to go out and pitch like that. So plan is to go out and get better. We just need to get back and get better and be a force for the team.
That's Adam Wainwright speaking with the media just a little while ago. Again, that audio is courtesy of Bally Sports Midwest. He is headed back to St. Louis. He has a shoulder issue, and he is going to the injured list. Let's take a look at our saves leaderboard. It's brought to you by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. There continues to be a four-way tie atop the saves leaderboard as Cleveland's Emmanuel Clase, Toronto's Jordan Romano, San Francisco's Camila Duvall, and Cincinnati's Alexis Diaz are all sitting with 24 saves each. It's brought to you by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. If you're a Missourian, we're for you. So the Cardinals have lost the first two games of this series. Game 3 coming up tomorrow evening, a 5:40 first pitch. That means we'll be on the air tomorrow at 4:45. For the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, along with Ricky Horton, who had the call of the game, and also on-site engineer Jim Jackson. For Tom Ackerman, who had the pregame show, Ethan Hannaford, who handled things in our St. Louis studio. I'm Matt Pauley, thanking you for being tuned in and wishing you a happy 4th of July, despite the final score for the Cardinals today. And we'll talk to you tomorrow for more Cardinals baseball across the Cardinals Radio Network.
Teams out of the final playoff spot. They've dropped 9 of 14, and Monday night Mike Trout injured his left wrist. With all of that, you know what's coming. The Shohei Ohtani trade rumors. With the game's literal most valuable player headed for free agency at season's end, where he will have no shortage of suitors, the Angels will have to at least start putting together a plan. So what's the cost of Ohtani to chase a championship? Start with your 3 top prospects and 2 young players ready for the big leagues. It's again worth noting, we've never seen this before. Someone who can help a team with dominance in both phases of the game. The Angels could turn it around again because, well, we forget easily, but LA has to start considering plan B. The guy who would have made it happen in 60 seconds.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, AutoZone is here to help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
What if I need a new one?
We have the right batteries right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone,
And what if I don't know how to connect it?
No problem. We have a how-to for you at AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
What's it like to be one of the most sought-after basketball players in the nation?
Top 20 recruit. Say hello to Billy Preston.
You turn into a star damn near.
Preston.
We want Billy.
Until
somebody had called the NCAA anonymously.
The federal probe has turned up widespread fraud and corruption in college basketball.
Listen to The Bag Game from 30 for 30 podcasts.
We all got mud on us, man. All of us. July 4th would have been the 93rd birthday of George Martin Steinbrenner III, the longtime cantankerous, unpredictable, and polarizing owner of the New York Yankees. There are just times the game misses George, and this month of July is one of those times. With the Yankees having won just one World Series in the last 23 years, and a player like Ohtani possibly available, the pure entertainment value of leaks to the press and quotes from Steinbrenner would have made the off-the-field intrigue so much more compelling than on the field. He was far from perfect, but you can never deny you enjoyed the show. Happy birthday, boss. And to you, a happy and safe 4th of July. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, from Canty and Carlin, I'm Chris Carlin.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. A stint on the injured list for Angels slugger Mike Trout after tests revealed a broken hamate bone in his left wrist. It was sustained when he fouled a pitch off last night. No timeline given yet for his return. The injury, though, a huge problem for an Angels team seeking to end an 8-year postseason drought. Notes ESPN's Buster Olney.
A left wrist injury for a hitter. That is a touchy injury because it's like the equivalent of a pitcher shoulder injury. For a hitter, it's not only the time missed now, but it's also the length required to come back because you can potentially have some setbacks.
Angels currently 6 out in the AL West, 3 out of the final AL wildcard spot. Red Star rookie Ellie De La Cruz, 4 for 5 with hits from both sides of the plate today. He drove in a run, scored another. Jonathan India went deep twice. Reds beat the Nationals 8-4. 4 RBI for Jesus Sanchez. Garrett Cooper, Jorge Soler, 3 RBI apiece. Marlins rolled over the Cardinals 12-2. Joey Chestnut won his 16th mustard belt at the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest today. He ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Coming up on Wednesday, which quarterbacks is this season Super Bowl or bust for? How much pressure is on Dak Prescott? You'll hear that and more. 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPNU.
If you haven't take problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but Chris ain't one. Hit me.
This is Canty and Carlin.
Can we just get some new developments in fireworks? I'm looking at the same thing every year, and all it's doing is, frankly, scaring the hell out of my dog. Where's the innovation in fireworks? Can I see some fireworks that actually make some nice shapes in the sky?
Big fella, I'm all about it. People putting on fireworks show and having the Roman candle fights and all of those different things. That's cool. Now, I'm not saying go all JPP with it.
Can I get a firework that goes in the shape of somebody's head?
I don't know that they can make a firework that's big enough to go in the shape of your head. I don't know.
I didn't ask for that. You're wondering why Canty made mention of people out there having Roman candle fights. Not people. When I was younger and dumber, it happened at like 100 paces, and it was a mistake.
Why 100 paces, though?
Well, it was like a duel. 4-5 weeks. I had this massive thing on the right side of my leg.
When you play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
Yes, exactly. And
so
that was my
exactly
stupid prize.
What you deserved.
Let that be your
paces.
cautionary tale.
This is Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. You can also listen to the show on the ESPN app, your smart speaker, and on SiriusXM Channel 80.
Happy 4th of July to you and yours out there. This is Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. Rob Stats Guerrera and Myron Metcalf filling in. Thanks for spending part of your holiday with us. Full disclosure, this is my first time doing a show with Myron. I'm learning a lot about him, not only when we're on the air, but also in the breaks. Yeah. Come to find out, not only do you dislike my taste in music, you're also a terrible texter.
Yeah, I'm not good at it.
You don't like when people send you long texts, and you drop the K in response.
I'm definitely that. I will definitely hit you with a K, sure, cool. You can call me. Like, if you're going to send me an essay, call me. FaceTime me. Do something. Don't send me an essay text, and now I got to sit there and read all, like I didn't subscribe to your newsletter, okay? Just tell me what you need to say, and we can go through, we talk about it,
Do you think that Dame Lillard texts K when Joe Cronin texts him from the Blazers?
Probably, especially now, But
Rachel,
Cronin definitely seems like an essay texter.
Our technical director, Rachel's shaking her head no. Why not, Rachel?
No. Very different idea. Do you guys put periods at the end of your text messages?
Yes. I use perfect punctuation.
I'm a punctuation person. Yeah, I'm a punctuation person.
See, well, you're both wrong.
Well, look, some of us have standards and some of us don't.
Yeah. Are you just doing a string of words? Is that your thing?
No. At the end of the text message, you don't put a period because it's the same as just being like, hey.
No.
It's not a nice thing to do, is what I've learned.
Periods are bad?
At the end of the text message itself.
If you're just going to send the letter K,
What's the point of punctuating it?
Apparently, it's just an extra, like, here you go.
Well, first of all,
then I'm going to add 2 of them then, because I want you to know how upset I am by the fact that you sent me an essay via text.
I just think you're both terrible people. Use punctuation. Don't we have standards as a society? All right. Enough of that. Let's get to the NBA.
Yeah, but if you're just saying K as in the letter K, I mean, you're already setting the bar low. All right.
Well, first of all, if you use just the letter K, you're a monster. Use the thumbs up thing. That's what it's there for.
I'm the monster.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
You just typed 1,500 words in one text message, and I'm the monster? Okay.
Well, we know you didn't read it.
Okay.
Why would you write it then? That's the question.
We've gotten off the rails here a little bit on this 4th of July. Like, things have gotten off the rails for the Portland Trail Blazers. Dame Lillard wants out. We're still waiting for a trade to happen. A lot of people think it's going to be Miami, but according to our own Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN's senior NBA insider, there could be one small problem with that.
Portland, I'm told, is not impressed with what Miami has to offer them. And while it is Damian Lillard's preference to go to the Heat, Portland has to get back a maximum value for Damian Lillard if they're going to trade him. And so certainly Miami at the minimum needs a third team, probably to take on Tyler Hero, and then they have those assets from that team sent on to Portland. Portland doesn't have interest in bringing in Tyler Hero. Their group already is built around young guards. And so I think for Portland, they're going to take their time with this process, and start to build out what the best offers would be elsewhere. But when it comes to Miami, I think for the Blazers, their focus is elsewhere on getting maximum value for Lillard.
Are you buying that, or do you think that's just posturing by the Blazers?
I think history tells me it's posturing, only because in the superstar era, every superstar gets their way. Anthony Davis wore a "That's All, Folks" shirt when he was with the Pelicans. His agent is Rich Paul, same agent as LeBron James. All the signs are pointing to him going to L.A., and people are going, there's no way that the Pelicans are going to accommodate Anthony Davis and trade him to a contender like the Lakers. Who does Anthony Davis play for now? The Lakers. There's just no way Houston would send James Harden to Brooklyn to play with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Are you kidding me? You're going to give up your franchise and let him call his own shot? James Harden went to Brooklyn. Kevin Durant, you're not trading him to Phoenix. Who cares what he wants? He's playing with Phoenix. So at the end of the day, in the superstar era, top 10 guys can do whatever they want to do. And the challenge for Portland is, as much as I think that you can't accommodate any star, you got to think about the future of your franchise. No one's going to trade for Damian Lillard if they think Damian Lillard's going to be unhappy. So that's the challenge. Like, if he's saying, I only want to go to Miami, I only want to go to Philly, you have to consider that, because some other team, Damian gets there and he's not happy, well, they're going to have to trade him at some point. So these situations tend to work out in the player's favor, which means whatever they got to do, Damian Lillard's going to end up in Miami.
That's why it doesn't matter that Dame doesn't have a no-trade clause, because all he's got to say is, I don't want to be there, and that's just as good, as you clearly explained. And, yeah, I think we've seen that guys end up generally where they want to be. And I'm going to say this, too. I don't care what kind of deal Portland thinks it's going to work out and all this stuff. If it's Miami or whoever ends up getting Damian Lillard, they're the team that's going to win this deal. If you go back and look at the history of deals, not only in the NBA, but even in other sports, the team that is trading for the known quantity, the superstar, almost always ends up winning that deal.
Yeah, I mean, because you're building toward the future. I mean, we forget, man. A lot of people maybe haven't seen Scoot Henderson because he was in the G League. I've seen Scoot. Scoot is legit, man. And now you add him, Shaedon Sharpe, Anthony Simons. There are other young pieces with Portland, and now you add to your depth. To me, Stats, like, Miami reached the finals because of their depth. And I'm trying to figure out how deep you can be if you add a Damian Lillard and you have to give up key players, and all of the top role players who were available are now signed to other teams. There's a chance to me that Miami may get more star power, but might be less equipped to make a run at the end of the day because they've surrendered all their depth.
That's why you have to get a third team involved. You have to finagle away somehow to where you are not completely depleting the roster around your big names if you're Miami. I don't know who it would be, if it's like an Oklahoma City or somebody, whoever has like a war chest of draft picks to make it enticing for Portland to make a move. Because otherwise, you're right. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul if you got to sell the store to get Damian Lillard.
But I will say, things working out in Miami's favor. They just signed Josh Richardson, brought him back to Miami. If you watched Summer League yesterday, my guy Jaime Jaquez, a guy I know well and his family's great out to UCLA, he looked great in his Summer League debut. So maybe some of these young draft picks are going to be able to fill in those gaps, but you got to have some depth. And you're not going to give up Bam. So I'm sure if you're Portland, you're like, that's the guy we want. Portland may win long-term, but short-term, I think it's going to be hard to feel like you got the equivalent of a guy like Dame Lillard.
Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. Rob Stats Guerrera and Myron Metcalf talking Damian Lillard trade possibilities. 888-729-3776 is the number. Give us a call if you want to weigh in. 888-SAY-ESPN. Ken is in Portland. Ken, you're on ESPN Radio.
Hey, thanks for having me on. First off, I agree with Myron. Texting, well overrated. I'm all thin thumbs, and I like to talk to people. I don't want to spend a half an hour trying to compose a text.
Thank you.
First off, I've lived most of my life in Portland. I've watched the Blazers since I was a kid. And your trucker friend who was a caller or two ago wanted to know, why didn't Joe Cronin do more to get Damian Lillard some help? Several reasons. First off, we haven't had an owner since October of 2018. Paul Allen died, and it is owned by the Allen Trust. His sister runs the Allen Trust, and I really think she could care less about the Portland Trail Blazers. And so it's been an organization that has been fairly rudderless for most of the last 5 years. Second thing is our prior GM, Neil O'Shea, in all his self-employed glory, never liked to part with his own guys. If he drafted them and he chose them, he didn't like to give them up. He held on way too long to C.J. McCollum. We didn't need a second Damian Lillard clone, but he held on to him for way too long until and he gave big contracts too. What is it, $39 million, $38 million to C.J. McCollum, who I think has never made an All-Star game. So that's the second reason. Third thing is Portland, the only way that Portland can build is through the draft and through trades. And O'Shea hamstrung this organization. He left the Blazers basically bereft of first-round picks. So Joe Cronin's been on the job since December 2021, and basically he had both hands tied behind his back. He had, and everyone in Portland loves Dame, okay? The Dame is a super max guy, okay? He takes a sizable chunk of the money that's here. He's not going to give up his money in order to attract free agents to come here, and he shouldn't, because he's a great player. Everybody loves him. But you add all those things together, and Joe Cronin basically is sweeping up the shards of mess that Neil O'Shea left for him.
Right. Well, thank you very much, Ken, for the call. I appreciate that. I don't have any sympathy. That's the job, Joe Cronin. I don't know what you're left with and all that stuff, but you've got to figure it out. That's your only mission. Well, you have two missions as an NBA GM. Get a superstar and keep that superstar happy. That is it. So regardless of the circumstances, you got to find a way to get it done.
Yeah, but your superstar has to be a superstar. And we toss that word around. And while I think Dame is a really, really good player, superstar for me, Steph Curry, LeBron James, he wasn't at that level. He was really good. And last year he might have had his best season, averaging 32 a game. But those guys have been able to carry teams to championships. As good as Dame Lillard was, as incredible as Dame time was, I don't think he was quite at that level. But they've had some good teams. And here's another factor, though, Stats. Here's another thing that people don't consider when they think about either Dame Lillard and what he did or didn't do in Portland and what Joe Cronin did or didn't do. Even though they had some good teams. They had that 2018 team, I believe, where you had Rodney Hood was coming off the bench and McCollum, Enes Kanter, they had some good guys. The rest of the Western Conference was getting much better. LeBron James decided to go to L.A. You had to deal with the Warriors, who were a legitimate dynasty. The Clippers were in the playoffs before Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. They go and add pieces like that. young teams like the Memphis Grizzlies start showing up, Devin Booker and Phoenix, all of a sudden the West is even more competitive. So I think what we fail to look at when it comes to a team like the Blazers is the Blazers and Dame Lillard could be really good, but within the context of what the Western Conference became, it's hard to maybe show that because there are so many other dominant teams. Utah had its run during that stretch as well with Donovan Mitchell. So I just think it was a really competitive conference, and I think that's a factor in what the Blazers were able to do, and I think that was a factor in their ceiling as well.
The other thing that Ken said that I actually agreed with way back at the beginning of his monologue was the ownership factor. I do think there comes a time in a team's window to win a championship where sometimes you need an owner to call everybody into a room, clunk everyone's heads together, and get everyone on the same page. And if you're hanging on to your guys too long, that's when the owner needs to say, look, we're done with this. You're moving on from this person. I signed the checks. I don't care if you don't like it. Get it done. Sometimes you need that. I think the 49ers need that with their whole quarterback situation. They haven't been able to find one in 7 years under Kyle Shanahan, and it's because I think the owner is not doing what he should to get everybody on the same page. You have to have that. That's what a strong leader does, and the Blazers haven't because, unfortunately, Paul Allen died.
Yeah, I think that's certainly a factor. I mean, like when you talk about Heat culture, that's a real thing, the continuity, the consistency, and it starts from the top. So I definitely think that can be a factor in what Portland has been able to do. But this situation to me is really specific. Damian Lillard, who has flirted with wanting a trade for a while now, decides that he wants to be in Miami with his buddy Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo. That's pretty specific. You know what I mean? Like, that's not like let's necessarily put our heads together as much as it's like, what are we willing to take back in order to make this happen? Because we're going to lose, at least in the short term. I don't care if you get Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry, and Duncan Robinson. It's not going to equate what you get with Damian Lillard. So, like, what makes us feel like we got something to build toward the future? Again, let's not ignore Scoot Henderson in the number 3 pick in the NBA draft and what value he could have. So I don't know, man. You can blame a lot of factors. How about the fact that Damian Lillard was great in an era full of great players in that Western Conference, and as a result, the Blazers never really got their chance to compete for a championship? Both things can be true, I think.
And yes, multiple things can be true, and we struggle with that as sports fans and sports media, frankly. It's Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive offers a great price and round-the-clock protection when bundling home and auto. It's one of those rare times when you could save money and get something great. Bundle today at Progressive.com. But I do think, going back to the ownership thing, I also think the owner can call Dame into the room. As soon as he starts waffling about his future, I call Dame into the room and I say, Dame, tell me right now, what's the most important thing to you? Winning a championship or staying in Portland? If the answer is staying in Portland, great. I know exactly where I stand. If the answer is winning a championship, guess what? We're not there right now. You just mentioned the state of the Western Conference at the time, right? They weren't going to be able to compete with some of those teams in the Western Conference. Then the owner can say, all right, thanks for everything. You're a great person. We'll do what we can for you, but this is over. But there was never that sort of definitive stance by anybody, and so it took 2 extra years for this to happen.
Wait. You're saying ownership should have walked into the room and said, we're trading Dame 2 years ago?
Ownership should have talked with Dame and said, right now you got to tell us whether you're in or out. I don't want to hear this waffling every season. I don't know. I might start to be unhappy. I got to know.
Yeah, you can't do that with a top 10 guy. You can't.
Why not?
It's just not. Because you can't. Because at the end of the day, especially if you're a small market team, you don't know when you're going to get another chance at a guy like Dame. He controls everything. That's just the way it is. To their detriment, at their expense. I get it. But you have to do everything you can to try to make him happy and assume, you know what, that'll make him want to stay. Dame has deep, deep ties in the city of Portland, way beyond basketball. But I don't think there's a world where you could have walked into the room and said, hey, man, if you're not all in, we're getting rid of you. Not Damian Lillard.
I signed the checks. I could do whatever I want.
Yeah, you're not trading Damian Lillard. You're just not.
They're
It's just
trading him
not gonna
now,
happen.
but they're trading him now.
He demanded the trade, though.
Yeah?
He demanded the trade. It's not like ownership walked in and said, we're done with you, Damian Lillard. He said, and in meeting with Monday with Joe Cronin, he said, you know what? I'm going to see what happens in free agency. Then a couple days later, he said, you know what? You all haven't done enough. I'm demanding a trade. So if Damian Lillard decided to stay, he would stay. He's had the power because in this era, superstars have all the power. You're not going to go out and get another Damian Lillard. So you're trying to do your best to accommodate him. I think the focus has to be, how do we put this franchise in a position where it can be competitive again in the next 2, 3, 4 years?
I think they would have got a heck of a lot more for Damian Lillard if they had traded him at some point in the last 2 years than they're going to get now. Because everybody knows that he wants out. The Blazers have no leverage whatsoever.
Who are you going to trade him for? Like, what were you going to trade Damian Lillard for if the idea was we want to be a playoff team in the Western Conference and a conference full of superstars, and we need to be competitive from a talent standpoint? Like, what were you going to get for a guy like that?
Well,
that
you
was
like
equal.
You likely would have had to take a step back in the short term, but like you just said, you weren't winning any championships then anyway.
But you were still a playoff team. You were still a team up until recent years. You were still a playoff team, and there was still the idea that if you added a few more pieces, Dame Lillard might be the guy who can lead you to a championship. Again, Golden State was out there. Who was better than – like, who do you add that puts you above that Golden State team? Who do you add that puts you above the Lakers when they were a championship-level team? So, I don't know, man. I think they did what they could. This seemed maybe inevitable in the last year or so. But now you just got to try to do your best to come out on top.
And we'll see if the Blazers can actually do it. I think they're going to get absolutely taken in this deal, and they'll probably be much worse off than they would have been if they had traded him at some point in the last few years. Straight ahead, ESPN Radio's Rank 'em is in full swing. We'll take a look back on some of the greatest lists we've seen so far. Plus, I still have to give you my stats to amaze your friends. We'll do that next. It's Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
NBA free agency is here.
They have the ability to improve this roster and just keep growing this young core that they have.
The balance of power could be shifting in the NBA. Get the very latest moves, news, and what it all means. Free agency frenzy. It's right here on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not choose Closet Box instead? Closet Box is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. Closet Box's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. Closet Box's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. Closet Box has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Macklemore here, repping my hometown of Seattle. MLB's greatest sluggers in baseball, SummerSlam, are coming to the Emerald City. Give us the bombs, the big flies, the no dollars, the blacks. the Derby.
What a night.
The T-Mobile Home Run Derby. Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
The 2023 U.S. Open Tennis Championships. It's the sport's biggest stars. It's the next generation now. It's fire on the court and off. It's edgy as seat and up on your feet. And it only happens here. The U.S. Open, August 28th through September 10th. Tickets on sale now at usopen.org. The U.S. Open. Spectacular awaits.
The Low Post Podcast with Zach Lowe.
Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Those guys walk in the door and ask for 4-year max extensions. I don't think the Clippers are just giving them to them.
Check out the Low Post Podcast on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
Coming up on Wednesday, the ESPN Radio Rankem Series continues with the top 5 home field advantages in the NFL. Who will be number 1? Catch that at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPNU.
Corner! FX's hit series The Bear returns.
I'm opening a restaurant. Gotta go hard every day.
The show the critics call the most anticipated new season on TV.
We have equipment that works. That's a great start, everybody. 0.
This place is going to take 6 months to open.
6 months?
That's being,
what, confident?
Cocky. Crazy.
FX's The Bear. All episodes now streaming. Only on Hulu.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one.
It's Laughter Permitted.
How are you? My name is Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting.
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one. We're here. Here we are.
Mike Greenberg. Greeny.
Cam, I cannot help but notice that you have played boy band music coming out of every commercial break. Is the reason that you are doing that because I think you look like one of the Jonas Brothers?
That may be the reason, yes. Maybe next break I'll just come back singing myself.
I recommend against that.
I sang in high school, but it has been a while.
It can't be that long ago. You're like 17.
How old are you, Cam?
25.
Oh, my God. I own clothing older than you.
1997, I was born.
You were born in 1997?
Yes.
It's the most depressing thing I've ever heard.
Didn't you start here before that?
Yes, I started here before that. I was working at ESPN when you were born. That's a horrible thing for me to have to say out loud. I actually have children almost your age. I am literally old enough to be your father, and I can't tell you how much that sucks. Get Nuno back. Nuno's old and seems older. Like Nuno's in his 40s and he acts 70.
And he looks 80.
That is exactly right.
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Susan has always wanted to live in a chateau. I like a certain je ne sais quoi. While Jake is more into the Cape Cod style home.
It's a classic look.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Susan and Jake found a Cape Cod style home where they will only speak French.
Bonjour, je t'aime, merci beaucoup, and cordon bleu.
You'll get better with Chime. Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
Tonight, I've got a bonfire at the lake with friends. First, I need a spritz of my Off Clean Feel. My summer style is all about fun and not about... I don't need Mosquito Bite Red clashing with this crochet top. It's purple, it's bright. I could definitely pair it with my Amethyst eyeshadow palette. Best part is, ugly mosquitoes won't be messing with my fiery vibes. With Off Clean Feel, I've got 8 hours of not sticky, fragrance-free protection. Get your pre-party protection on with Off Clean Feel. SC Johnson, a family company.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lacey. Angels slugger Mike Trout's landed on the injured list with a fractured hamate bone in his left wrist. He was hurt fouling off a pitch last night. The Angels, contending for a playoff spot, haven't yet given a timetable for how much time he'll miss. Plenty of offensive fireworks on this 4th of July from the Marlins at the expense of the Cardinals.
Here's Jesus Sanchez, and he swings and hits a ball in the air center field. Nootbaar's going back. He's looking up. See you later. Jesus Sanchez, a 3-run bomb, his 8th of the season. It's 3-0 Miami here in the first.
On 940 win, Sanchez drove in 4 runs. Garrett Cooper, Jorge Soler, 3 RBI apiece. Miami rolled past St. Louis 15-2, has won 17 of its last 22 games. Reds rookie sensation Ellie De La Cruz, 4 for 5 with hits from both sides of the plate. Drove in a run, scored another. Jonathan India went deep twice. The Reds beat the Nationals 8-4. Joey Chestnut won his 16th mustard belt at today's Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest after a lengthy rain delay. He ate 62 hot dogs in 10 minutes.
Coming up on Wednesday, who has been the biggest loser of NBA free agency so far, and is it too late to turn things around? You'll hear that and more at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPNU.
Conjunction Junction, what's your function?
Hooking up 2 boxcars and making them run right. Milk and honey, bread and butter, peas and rice.
Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. Rob Stats Guerrero and Myron Metcalf filling in.
Now this is a banger.
Yes, it is.
What?
Yes.
Oh.
100%.
No.
Anything Schoolhouse Rock. Anything.
I mean, look, I don't know anybody that dislikes Schoolhouse Rock, but I don't know if I'm putting it in banger territory.
Everything Schoolhouse Rock ever did.
I don't know how this came up during one of the breaks.
I'll tell you this. They invented the band.
All right.
Well, how it came up to, if you want to know stats, is we were talking about the biggest upset of all time, which is the United States of America beating British in the Revolutionary War. And we were trying to figure out, what the timing of that was in terms of the ending of the war. And then we got to a song that Rachel knew that helped her remember.
Well, that's Schoolhouse Rock. We know that.
Yeah, that was the preamble for Schoolhouse Rock. And then it just went from there.
Yeah. My
My
challenge on the biggest upset. Yeah, no, it's okay. My biggest thing is do we know the odds in 1776?
British was minus 5,000, I believe.
Was that really bigger than Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So,
War of 1812, though, I think was even tougher for us.
I've lost control. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. I've lost control here.
Rocky over Ivan Drago is probably the greatest upset, really.
I will defer to that as well, yes.
Can someone tell me how
he bleeds?
The Russian peasants got tickets to the greatest fight of the century? How did that happen in that movie? That never made sense to me.
Well, they controlled everything. I mean, once they put the fight in Russia, they ran everything at that moment. So,
Canty and Carlin here
against
on ESPN Radio.
Yeah.
It's Rank 'em month here. If you've been listening to ESPN Radio, you've heard various hosts across all the shows with top 5 lists throughout the day. They've done top 5 wide receivers, top 5 running backs. We don't get a Rank 'em list today, Myron. First of all, what's up with that?
I don't know, man. We obviously love lists around here. I thought we'd get one, but surprising.
Tomorrow's list, for people that actually get to do one, is top 5 home field advantages in the NFL. And to me, I don't need 5. There's only one, and it's very easy, and it's Arrowhead. When your stadium can be the loudest stadium in the league without being engineered to be loud like Seattle is, that's number one. And, oh, by the way, you also have to play Patrick Mahomes when you get there.
Yeah, that's why it's number one, right? It's not just the venue and the environment. It's having to face the best team in football within that environment. I think sometimes we talk about home field advantage and we separate the team, and I think that leaves us with a lot of these ideas of like these old school teams that maybe once had this great home field advantage, but that's kind of gone away when the team has declined. But Arrowhead is the perfect merger of an incredible atmosphere and fan base and the greatest quarterback in the NFL. So it's terrible to play there.
3 things I go into a good home field advantage: volume, field conditions, and weather. If you have all 3 of those in your favor, you have a great home field, and that's obviously Kansas City and a couple other places too.
Yeah, you got to add other things, though, I think. Like Philly has a great home field advantage because their fans will fight you before you ever get to your seat. So it's like not only do they drown you out with noise, like they will physically approach you to make sure you understand where you are. So, like, that's a different kind of home field advantage, honestly.
There was a jail in their old stadium. Just saying,
Yeah.
That may be a factor.
I'm in Minnesota, and Vikings fans still talk about going to Philly for the NFC Championship, the 2017 season, and, like, trying to walk to their cars and Philly fans wanting to fight them. Like, it's still like they're still haunted and traumatized by Eagles fans and how they were toward them.
I actually have Minnesota on the list, too. I think Minnesota has a great home field advantage. That stadium can get super loud. It was only one of 6 stadiums last year to get to 120 decibels. I think the Vikings have a sneaky good home field.
Yeah, I mean, and it's helped them have a lot of success in the postseason, right? I think it gets big, it gets loud with the new building, but I think you have to have a combination of success in the postseason to really stand out as like a top 2, 3, 4 advantage. But it's a great building, and it does get crazy in there since they built it.
So I promised some stats to amaze your friends since we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings. Justin Jefferson has done something that no one else has ever done in the history of the NFL, and that is catch 100 or more passes and average 14 yards a catch in back-to-back seasons. People do not understand how good Justin Jefferson is. He's on the Jerry Rice track, Myron.
People here understand it. I mean, people in Minnesota get it because, when he surpassed some of the records established by Randy Moss, who I think is the most talented player in NFL history. Just in terms of just raw talent on a field, it's him. So people understand Justin Jefferson and kind of the lane he's in. And to be on that Jerry Rice track, I don't think people understand, like, how far ahead Jerry Rice is than everybody else. It's amazing for Justin Jefferson to start, but like then it's like age 32 and beyond, you got to catch up with a guy like Jerry Rice. So it's hard to imagine anybody ever matching him. But I think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the NFL. And I think that, to me, has already been established.
If you want to know how far ahead Jerry Rice is, the closest active player to Jerry Rice, I believe, is Julio Jones. If you took all the yards Julio Jones has and you gave him all the yards that Travis Kelce has, he'd still be 2,000 yards behind Jerry Rice. That's how far ahead Jerry Rice is.
It's amazing, man. I remember at one point, there have been a couple of receivers who maybe had 11,000, 12,000 yards in their career. And it was like you could have 4 2,000-yard seasons and you still wouldn't catch Jerry Rice. Like it's a whole different thing with him. But I do think Justin Jefferson has emerged as the wide receiver of the NFL, the top guy in the league. Pay him every dime he's worth. And I think he's the building block of the Minnesota Vikings, no matter what happens in the future with Kirk Cousins.
Last one really quickly, since we're talking Vikings wide receivers. I want to go to a former Vikings wideout, Stephon Diggs. Nobody in the league has caught more passes over the last 3 years, and only Devontae Adams has accounted for a higher percentage of his team's receiving yards. So I can't figure out what exactly Stephon Diggs is upset about right now in Buffalo, but it can't be not seeing the football because nobody has seen it more than him since he's got there.
It's such a weird thing, and hearing Josh Allen talk, Josh kind of took it on himself and said, we got some things to work out. But I don't see where Stephon Diggs believes he can go, to your point, and be more involved in a team's offense, in a contender's offense. So
yes.
Maybe it's something petty, because I know from his time in Minnesota, that dude is certainly the type to take one small issue and make it a big thing. But let's be honest. He'll be out there this fall. He loves the spotlight. He loves being involved, and no one can give him that opportunity more than the Buffalo Bills.
I hope you're right, because I like to see them make another run at it. They're so good. The defense is good. I love Sean McDermott as a head coach. So, Stephon Diggs, come on home. Just get over it. You're in a great spot, arguably the best spot in the league. Figure it out. Switch gears coming up next here. One of the most anticipated debuts of the past decade is going to happen on Friday. What are reasonable expectations? Myron's going to tell you next. It's Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio.
Coming up on Wednesday, who has been the biggest loser of NBA free agency so far, and is it too late to turn things around? You'll hear that and more at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPNU.
Anyone who has ever needed self-storage knows what a hassle it can be. You have to rent or borrow a truck and then find someone to help you move your stuff. And let's face it, moving furniture and heavy items without damaging them isn't easy. Renting the unit is worse. The hidden fees and admin costs are scarier than the dingy facilities you're leaving your stuff in. Why not use ClosetBox instead? ClosetBox is self-storage without leaving home. They'll pick up your belongings, store them securely, and bring any item back when you need it. The best part? Unlike traditional self-storage, you only pay for what you store. No paying for unused storage space. ClosetBox's background check storage movers are licensed, bonded, and insured and will take care of all of the heavy lifting. ClosetBox's local storage centers are temperature controlled and monitored 24/7. ClosetBox has an A+ rating from the BBB. Call 877-233-5696 now for the season's best rates. Get $50 off first month storage using code RADIO50. That's 877-233-5696. 877-233-5696.
I think this market is a unique one that has been kind of underrepresented. Like the two major sports haven't been very good. DC's up there. It's one of the big boys. It's not a small market team.
Check out the Dominic Foxworth Show anywhere you get your podcast.
Exclusively on ESPN Plus, UFC 290, Saturday. Alexander Volkanovski takes on Yair Rodriguez for the undisputed featherweight title. And Brandon Moreno defends his flyweight title against Alexandre Pantoja.
This card is absolutely amazing.
UFC 290, Saturday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Buy it on ESPNplus.com/PPV.
Let's go!
Coming up on Wednesday, the ESPN Radio Rankum Series continues with the top 5 home field advantages in the NFL. Who will be number 1? Catch that at 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, and on ESPNU.
Sunday.
Welcome to the home of the Formula One World Championship. It's Silverstone.
Formula One comes home.
The crowd are going crazy.
As the rock stars of racing take stage at Silverstone.
Through goes Hamilton. He wins the British Grand Prix.
The Formula One British Grand Prix. Coverage begins Sunday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. ESPN coverage presented by Mercedes-Benz.
Major League Baseball on ESPN Radio. Opening day.
Hammer to left field. See you later. Mike Trout, how's that to start the season?
To the All-Star game.
Oh my goodness. He crushed it. Giancarlo Stanton and the American League with one swing has tied it up.
457-foot home run. How much fun was that?
Oh, that's amazing.
Plus, every game of Major League Baseball's postseason.
Got it back some more. Leaping and he caught it. Out of here. Mookie Betts. Shohei Ohtani.
Until a champion is crowned at the World Series.
The Houston Astros have won the World Series. And they celebrate their second title in the last 6 seasons. And this time, they do it at home.
Major League Baseball is on ESPN Radio.
Corner!
FX's hit series The Bear returns.
I'm opening a restaurant. I go hard every day.
The show the critics call the most anticipated new season on TV.
We have equipment that works. That's a great start, everybody. 0.
This place is going to take 6 months to open.
6 months?
That's being
What, confident?
cocky. Crazy.
FX is the Bear. All episodes now streaming. Only on Hulu.
Yo, 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 what's up, party people? I'm Julie Foudy.
And I'm Lynn Ozawi.
We host the ESPN podcast Laughter Permitted, where we have candid chats with trailblazing women in sports and beyond.
We've talked with goats like Billie Jean King, Simone Biles, Mia Hamm, Sue Bird, Candace Parker, Michaela Schifrin, just to name a few.
So grab a donut or 500 and check us out wherever you get your podcasts. And a huge shout out to our presenting sponsor, Ally, who has supported us since day one. It's Laughter Permitted.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting?
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Championships Wimbledon. Please remain silent and seated as Carlos Alcaraz and Francis Tiafoe join reigning champions Novak Djokovic and Elena Rybakina, live from London. Quiet, please. It's Wimbledon. First ball to last ball coverage continues through July 16th on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ABC. Coverage presented by Barclays.
How are you? My name's Scott Van Pelt, host of SV Pod, along with my partner in crime, Stanford Steve. What do we talk about mostly on the podcast, Steve?
Sports.
Some.
Parenting?
I feel like that comes up a lot. I feel like most recently I've needed some help because I feel like my shortcomings there are evident. It's life stuff, relatable content.
It's fun.
It's just two bald-headed goons just talking about nonsense a lot in a crowded podcast space. There's that one.
We're here.
Here we are.
I do my hair talk, check my nails, baby, how you doing?
Canty and Carlin on ESPN Radio. Rob Stats, Guerrero, Myron Metcalf in for the boys. Presented by Progressive Insurance. Myron, banger?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Lizzo. That's Lizzo, definitely. She's from Minnesota, so anything Lizzo does is banging. So I'm biased on that. Any Lizzo song I would have said is a banger.
I was all excited. Now I feel like you cheapened it a little bit.
They shot down my other Lizzo songs. So.
Listen, I'm biased. I'm biased.
Oh, this is the best part. Just walking on Oh, come on. It's
good, man.
It's outstanding. All right. Somebody else who's feeling good as hell right now. Spurs fans, because guess what, Myron? Victor Wembanyama is going to make his Summer League debut on Friday. Yeah. You can't be more excited about it. But I actually saw an interesting quote from Draymond Green, who was on Podcast P with Paul George. And Draymond said, people are setting up Wembanyama for failure. Quote, it's hard to become an NBA All-Star in this league. Now, if he does, God be with him. More power to you. But to say he's going to be an all-star next year as if he don't have to figure this game out, I don't really buy that. I think he will be special, but an all-star next year, I think that's a bit much. Do you agree with Draymond?
Yeah, I think it'll take Victor some time, but I do think all the buzz is real. It's not like this is some dude coming out of high school and no one's seen him. He's been playing at the international level for years. There's been a lot of time to scrutinize him. I had a chance to see him versus Scoot Henderson in Las Vegas in September, and that was an incredible ride. You had Devin Booker and Chris Paul and all of these NBA guys there. He had 7 threes in the second half of his first game, went for 30-plus in the second game. He's everything you think at 7'4", just the way he plays. We say a lot of times, man, we've never seen anything like this. And most times in sports, we're lying, right? But I do think, that title fits Victor Wembanyama because at his size and the way he plays, it's just such a unique thing. And I'm so excited to see him Friday, even though I mean, for all we know, they might play him 5 minutes, but just the way he moves at that size, he's going to be a problem. If he can stay healthy, he is going to be a great player. I think the question becomes, Stats, can he reach the ceiling if people think he is supposed to be the greatest thing ever? Like, is it even possible for him to really satisfy everybody considering all the buzz? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty confident he'll be a great player.
No, it's not possible. And it's annoying that we have done this to him because he doesn't deserve it. Chris Broussard said if he becomes Akeem Olajuwon, that's a disappointment. Number one, that's a shot at Olajuwon, who's one of the greatest players in the history of the NBA. But number two, like, what are we even talking about? The absurdity of that. So according to that logic, that means Wembanyama could be a Hall of Famer and still be a disappointment. That's insanity.
Well, yeah, Chris Broussard said it, then, yeah, that's fact. I think at the end of the day, I think comparing especially big guys to other big guys is problematic, right? Like Akeem and Shaq, leave those dudes alone. Don't ever reference Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain. Like, let those dudes be who they are. What I do think is safe to say is we've never seen a 7'4" athlete in the NBA like Victor Wembanyama. I don't think you can compare him to an Akeem or anyone like that because this dude can handle the ball like a guard. He can hit threes in traffic like a shooting guard, a small forward in this league. He's not some back to the basket skyhook dude. I think that's what makes him different. He fits the profile of the current NBA big man, except he takes it to a whole different level. What I hope, my biggest thing is give him time to develop. He needs more size on his frame. He has to learn the NBA game. The European game is a lot different than the NBA game, so that transition may take some time. But the skills, all of that is there already, and I think if he stays healthy, you'll be able to see that Friday. I'm not saying he's going to put up 40 points, but right away, when I saw him in Vegas Stats, like right away you were like, okay, I've never seen this before. And I think the general public on Friday will see the same thing.
Here's the problem for him, though, is that, first of all, we're going to have no patience whatsoever. If he doesn't make the All-Star game
this
year,
fair. That's true.
People are going to crush him. Second of all, because of all this hype and all this buildup, he's going to go into games in the NBA, and guys are going to be looking to stick it to him because they're going to be saying, oh, this is the guy I've been hearing so much about. All right, young fella, here's what we got for you. Let me show you a little something about the NBA game. I feel like he's going to get everybody's best shot more than another rookie might.
He will. Let me tell you what I saw in Vegas. Can I tell you what I saw with him?
Sure.
In the second half of this game, multiple possessions, he played point guard. Now, I'm not talking, clumsy, I can't handle the ball point guard. I'm talking legitimate point guard, coming off screens, seeing the floor, making the right pass. That's different. I'll tell you what else I saw in that game. He had 7 3-pointers in the second half, like a Steph Curry would hit him. He wasn't shooting them. Nothing against your Jokic's and guys like that who could hit him. It wasn't like this set shot. It was in traffic, coming off screens. Like, there just hasn't been anybody like him. So they may want to stick it to him, but his skill set is unlike anything they've seen. And I do think he has the chance to legitimately change that position if he stays healthy.
Sure, as long as we keep throwing 7-foot guys that can play point guard, I'm sure we'll be rolling him out there soon.
I mean, some guys kind of do it. This is a different thing, and people will see that Friday.
I hope so, because it's better for everybody if he's good. Like, you can be root against him because of all the hype, but don't do that. He deserves time to develop, and hopefully he will. Straight ahead, the Sixers got to figure out what to do with James Harden, but they have a lot more to worry about than that. It's Canty and Carlin, ESPN Radio.
Inflation is nothing more than a legal form of theft, because with every new round of money printing, the value of your 401k or IRA is decreased through the dilution of the money supply. Hi, I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and while you can, I highly recommend you consider physical gold for your retirement account. Why? Because gold provides real wealth preservation that can withstand anything. Even better, with a gold IRA from Birch Gold Group, you pay no penalties or taxes when you transfer your current retirement funds. To learn more, get a free info kit on gold from my friends at Birch Gold. There is no cost or obligation, so request this information right now.
Call Birch Gold Group today at 800-533-1344 to get your free info kit on gold. Call 800-533-1344. That's 800-533-1344.
The Baseball Tonight podcast.
But I also see, off in the distance on the horizon, this monumental battle for American League MVP, Tim. Because Aaron Judge is good or better than he was last year. He's putting together this amazing start despite the fact that he was on the injured list for a period of time. And Shohei Ohtani is ridiculous.
The Baseball Tonight podcast is on the ESPN app or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The 2023 U.S. Open Tennis Championships. It's the sport's biggest stars. It's the next generation now. It's fire on the court and off. It's edge of your seat and up on your feet. And it only happens here. The U.S. Open, August 28th through September 10th. Tickets on sale now at usopen.org. The U.S. Open. Spectacular awaits.
Mike Greenberg. Green.
My middle name is wrong on Wikipedia. The day after the inauguration of Joe Biden as president, when the Chief Justice, was reading his name, I, Joseph Robinette Biden, like everyone made, oh my goodness, his middle name is Robinette. It's an unusual middle name. The next day, in a debate about something else entirely, Dominique Foxworth just said, now you listen to me, Michael Robinette Greenberg. And someone changed that on Wikipedia. 6 weeks ago, I'm doing an interview to promote the book. And someone in the interview says, so let me ask you, your middle name is Robinette. That's an unusual name. Where did that come from? And I had to have the excruciatingly awkward conversation of saying my middle name is not Robinette. You should not be looking at Wikipedia as your source for information. My middle name is not Robinette. My middle name doesn't start with an R. I'm not going to tell you my middle name because what the hell do you care what my middle name is?
Greeny with Mike Greenberg. Weekday mornings at 10 Eastern on ESPN Radio. Plus, you can watch and listen on the ESPN app.
Macklemore here, repping my hometown of Seattle. MLB's greatest sluggers in baseball, SummerSlam, are coming to the Emerald City. Give us the bombs, the big flies, the no doubters, the blacks. Give us the derby. What a night. The T-Mobile Home Run Derby, Monday at 8 Eastern on ESPN.
This is C.J. McCollum, star of the New Orleans Pelicans and co-host of the C.J. McCollum Show.
McCollum at the horn for three. Got it.
Inviting you to join Israel Gutierrez and me once a week as we discuss names and storylines in and around the NBA with the inside perspective you can only get from someone in the locker room and on the floor. Listen to great guests and players such as Brandon Ingram and Andre Iguodala, and input from a great team of ESPN Insider regulars like Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Mark Spears. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
An ESPN Radio Extra Point with Amber Wilson.
You bring in Beal, and when they made that move, all you heard over and over again was, yes, you have Booker, you have Beal, you have KD, but you don't have depth. Well, guess what they did in this offseason? They got long, size. They did everything they could with these minimum contracts. They were really attracting players who, by the way, had other options in other teams. Now, some of that might be who they get to play with now. Some of that might be the way they structure these minimum contracts. You're talking about a Phoenix Suns team that offered a player option there in year 2 for these minimums, which prevents them from being able to be traded this season. So these guys know that they're going to be in Phoenix playing along those 3 superstars this season. That allowed the Phoenix Suns to get better around those 3 guys. They actually are a team that probably gets an A+ grade for what they did so far in free agency, because there was only so much they could do, and they did exactly what they could.
Stay cool this summer with AC Pro and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of select AC Pro ready-to-use refrigerant products that include a hose and gauge. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at a Reese's peanut butter cup. And sure, my voice is peanut buttery smooth, but still, you need to see the peanut butter cups, right? No? I can really just say Reese's and you'll go get some? Okay. Reese's. 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 Really working, actually. Reese's. Reese's. I'm on to something. Reese's. Reese's. Reese's.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.